For the first time in my career as a tech reviewer, I'm going to be extensively testing Android Auto and Apple CarPlay from the very lap of luxury. Now, before I talk about the tech inside this India-made Mercedes S-Class S350D, let me tell you that I have a secret to share with you guys, which is related with me and cars. But for that, you have to wait till the end of the video to know more. Stay tuned. Alright, let's start off with what's so crazy about the interiors of the Mercedes S350D. We've got 5 displays on board out here. Technically, yes, that's 5 displays. There is the main speedometer display, of course, and then there is this huge central unit, and there are 2 units on the rear as well. Now, the one on the front is a 12.8-inch OLED panel for crisp details, and of course, on the rear, you have got 11.6-inch, touchscreen panels as well. Now, I'll start off with this panel out here. This baby is, controlled using the driver's control that you can see here. You can even change the themes according to your liking. For example, there is this understated theme for which you can change the color sequences, and it will change across the system on all the displays out here. And after that, you've got a sport mode, exclusive, classic, all the cool stuff. And then there is, of course, this navigation theme as well, which gives you a clear idea of where you're headed if you have set a navigation path on the map. Now, this display also shows you if you have put the car in parking or in driving mode. All those details are available as well. But my favorite theme of the lot is the one where you actually head to the service setting and you go and see that you can see that how much engine oil is left in your car, what is the tire pressure on all of the 4 tires out here. It's actually pretty cool. Now, this display can be controlled using this control panel out here on the left. And what I like about this control panel is the fact that you actually do get a navigation control with touch sensitivity, and of course you also get a volume control, both of which are touch enabled surfaces. Now, for example, if you see, I can increase the volume and decrease the volume by just sliding my fingers. Now let's come to the PS de resistance, and that is this huge panel out here. What you get with this is, of course, Mercedes's own UI and 16 gigs of RAM inside it. Yes, 16 whopping gigs of RAM inside it. That's just crazy. But you need that kind of processing power to be able to achieve what Mercedes can achieve with this panel. Now, apart from this, you also do get Mercedes's own voice assistant, which is very similar to Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri. Let's try it out. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Let's navigate to Amanora Mall.
Here is what I found.
Now, before I talk about MBUX or Mercedes-Benz UX, let me quickly take you through Apple CarPlay. Now, I have my iPhone connected, and this is generally what it looks like. You've got your map, you've got your music player, and you can see all the open apps as well. And if you want to see a list of all the apps that are supported by Apple CarPlay right now, this is what is possible. Here's the interesting fact. I didn't know this until I actually, checked out Apple CarPlay for the very first time myself, is that you can actually connect Apple CarPlay wirelessly and in wired mode, but only certain cars support the wireless mode. Of course, the Mercedes S350 does. Now, one of the things I found interesting about Apple CarPlay, since I'm testing it for the very first time, and since this is a car operating system, it doesn't give you too many features to actually use. It's not like you're using your iPhone or your iPad. Now, for example, let me show you what happens when you actually open WhatsApp.
Would you like me to compose a new message or make a call?
Nothing.
Okay, I won't.
So basically, if you open WhatsApp, all you can do is talk to Siri and of course send a message or make a call to somebody. The same is true for Zoom. The same is true for Telegram as well. Now, the other interesting thing that I noticed about Apple CarPlay is something called driving focus, which silences some of the alerts and notifications, which is definitely a very good thing. Now, it goes without saying that you obviously have control to your music player, to podcasts, all of which works really well. So basically, Apple CarPlay is about that much only on any car that you'll be driving. Mercedes itself gives you such a big display, so it looks really good, and of course, it feels great to use. So now I've actually switched on Android Auto, which is very similar to Apple CarPlay in more ways than one. Now, what you can see right now on your screen is Google Maps and of course whatever's playing on Apple Music at the moment. I use Apple Music on Android, so that's what's playing here as well. Now, Android Auto is a vertical scroll instead of a horizontal scroll. That's the only difference between Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But unlike Apple CarPlay, you can actually see your messages that you have received on your phone during the drive. That's what I noticed. So that's pretty good. Now, similarly, you also get access to your music player, your podcast. So all of that is pretty good and it works very well, very seamless. But for some odd reason, I found Apple CarPlay to be more responsive on this specific Mercedes S350D touch panel. You also do get games with Android Auto. I don't think you should be doing that while you're driving, but if you want to take a break, stop somewhere and play a game, you can do that too. So now I'll quickly take you through my favorite part of this entire video, and that is the audio setup. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I'm a big audio nerd, and there's a Burmester speaker setup inside this car, and it's got 15 speakers inside it with 3D sound. Now, one of the things that you guys need to note is that in this Make in India version, there are 15 speakers, but the other S350D, before it, the CBU unit, it had 32 speakers. That's just mad. And you know what you can do with this Burmester sound system is actually set your preference of volume levels for the bass guitar, for the main guitar, for the drums. So it gives you a fair idea of what kind of sound you prefer and then, sets the sound accordingly. I'll quickly show you guys how that happens. मेरे को bass कम अच्छा लगता है. Crazy, right? It's nuts, dude. और ये पूरा volume that you prefer gentle. ठीक है, इसमें भी वही. Now it adds the drums. Intensive sound profile prepare किया. Changes have been saved. So that was my experience of Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Of course, it's not very intense because they don't give you too many features and options to work with. But for what it is worth, it's definitely something worth having on your car for sure. So if you do get a car with an option to have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and if you're on the Android, iPhone ecosystem, you should definitely consider it. But what I did notice is that at least here in Pune, that Siri was more responsive to actually commands and taking us to, navigating us to a location as opposed to Google Maps. But Google Maps is definitely far better at location mapping and finding the right direction. Now I do want to show you guys what MBUX itself can do apart from Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but I'm not going to be doing that from the driver's seat because this car isn't meant to be experienced from the driver's seat, to be entirely honest. It's this seat out here that has all the features and commands and the best lounge experience that you can experience from an S-Class. So I'm going to be moving to that seat. Now I'm sitting in the rear lap of luxury, in the passenger seat, behind the front passenger. This is the best setup. You know what the most cool thing about this seat is that I can actually control, using this system out here, I can actually move the front passenger seat ahead and irritate somebody. Now if you look out here, I can select the passenger, select the whole seat, and I can move it up, down, back, or front. Now the MBUX system itself is very bare basics. You get your navigation, which is basically Mercedes' own navigation system, which you can choose to use if you don't want to use Google Maps or Apple Maps. And of course, you've got phone through which you can actually connect your iPhone or your Android and make calls or, take a look at your contacts as well. And there's radio, media, and a few other apps as well. But the most important, features of the MBUX system is one which lets you connect, the features of the car itself. For example, if you hit comfort, you'll see that you can obviously change your seat position to your liking. You can also change the lumbar setting to your liking. Then you can, move on the side bolsters to see what works best for you. I'm a little big guy, so I want it to be entirely open. And then there's a seat climate control, which lets you also heat the seat, and apart from also offering you seat ventilation. One of the things that you guys need to note is that only the rear seats offer you heating plus ventilation. The passenger seat in the front and of course the driver seat only offer heating. But you know what, guys? Why I think this car is not a car, but it's a spa. Because you can actually get a massage in the back seat. It's not available for the driver or the front seat passenger, but it's available for the back seat, guys. Basically, you can also control the ambient lighting. Basically, you can change the color to your preference. You can also do this from the Mercedes Me Connect app, which is very, very good. So yeah, so that's one option as well. Now, apart from comfort, this for me is the most important app within MBUX. Basically, you can pull close or open all your sun blinds, which is fine. But you can also take a look at the lighting system for the exterior lighting and how it works. And you also have your option to see the voice assistant and stuff like the display. And all of this is pretty useful information that is very, very vital for you to actually run your car. Alright, so this was basically the entire MBUX system, but along with that you also get a central Samsung tablet which is available on the handrest in the passenger seat. Now this tablet also lets you control most of the functions within the car. Now if you don't want to actually see that display, you can actually use this in-hand display to control the car as well. Now if you have a wireless charging capable phone, then you have two wireless charging pads within this massive car, one on the front and one on the rear under the armrest. And you know what, I'm going to do exactly that and put my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra on the pad for charging, and it will start charging. Now if you don't have a phone with wireless charging capabilities, then you have 6 USB Type-C ports, 4 on the front and 2 on the rear. So essentially, if you're driving the car, you have many more options. For example, you have an active distance assist, which lets you maintain, a set speed. You have a few features for avoiding contact, which includes active brake assist, active lane keep assist, and blind spot assist. All of these are very useful features, especially something like the blind spot, which actually monitors the vehicles alongside your car and, course corrects if there is an issue. And of course, it goes without saying that there are a lot of parking assistance features as well. One of the very interesting things that Mercedes has actually done with its, connected car ecosystem is that it connects many Mercedes cars on the same cloud. And, say for example, if there is a Mercedes car in front of you and it has noticed a pothole, it immediately sends that information to the cloud and sends it back to the car, any Mercedes car that follows behind it. And, you get that information saying that there is a pothole so you can avoid it. Although this car is pretty good with its suspension and you won't even notice it, but then again, these are very important features to be added. Having said that, I don't know how many Mercedes car owners are going to be there in India for this feature to work very effectively, but it's there for what it is worth. Alright, so that was my time with the car. It's got a fantastic system inside. I'm so glad that I could actually experience car tech in such detail, especially Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for the very first time on a car like the Mercedes-Benz S350D. But here's the fun thing. Remember when I told you guys that I have a secret to share with you guys? I don't know how to drive a car. I've been sitting inside and checking all the tech, but I haven't driven the car really. So that was my secret. Did you guys see that coming? Do let me know in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed these kind of videos as well. This is a lot of fun to make for sure. Until next time, this is Eshad from Track in Tech signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.